You might think going from earning just $120 a month to financial freedom is impossible, but I did it. Yes, marrying my American husband helped, but the real game changer was a move most people overlook. I will share it later in the video. Hey everyone, I am Daravi and this is 40 Knows Finances. My husband Jason and I retired at 39 with $1 million portfolio. And now we want to inspire you on your FIRE journey. I am excited to share my journey from a low paycheck to living a life of financial independence. You see, I grew up in Cambodia where there's no safety net like Social Security to fall back on. If you're not saving for retirement, well, good luck with that. Let me take you through my story, how I transform my life, and how you can do too. So let's rewind to the beginning. Think about a young girl in Cambodia, full of dreams, but dealing with life tough challenges. I was committed to building a better future for myself since my mom didn't finish primary school and struggled with reading. I knew I had to focus on my education. Growing up, I quickly realized that in Cambodia, having a bachelor degree was essential. It's like having a golden ticket to a decent job. So, when I got a scholarship for my degree in environmental management, I feel like I won a lottery. Fast forward to graduation, I landed my first job a few months later, and my starting salary was $120 a month. Can you imagine? No benefits, just me, my ambition, and a scooter to get to work. I was thrilled though. It was my first taste of independence, my first step into the professional world. But I knew this wasn't enough. I had my sights set on a master's degree abroad. Even with my low salary, I was determined to invest in my future. I started paying for English classes, saving up $30 a month to prepare for the proficiency test required for scholarship applications. You have to understand it wasn't just about passing the test. It was about breaking the cycle of financial struggle that so many in my country face. I lived with my parents, which allowed me to save a lot of money. Well, that I considered to be a lot of money at that time. But it was a bit of balancing act. I helped them with food expenses, but I didn't have to worry about rent. I remember spending evenings studying after work, sitting on the floor with my books, dreaming of what life could be like if I pushed a little harder. As I settled in my first job, I constantly look for better opportunities. Eventually, my hard work paid off. I found a job that paid me $250 a month, and get this, it came with health insurance. Finally, I could afford to see a doctor without breaking the bank. And oh yeah, I still drove my trusty scooter to work. No fancy car for me. It was all about keeping my expense low while maximizing my savings. At this point, I was saving around $150 a month, and with the extra cash, I began looking into real estate investments. You know, the kind of investment my colleagues were always talking about. As I continued to work and save, I keep an eye out for scholarships. Finally, the day came. I received not only one, but two scholarship offers, one to New Zealand and another to Australia. Talk about the dilemma here. After weighing my options, I chose Australia. I've never been to a developed country before. Couldn't imagine living there. It was a big leap for me. Moving away from home, living alone, and experiencing a totally different culture. I was nervous and excited at the same time. Even as a 24 years old, living in Sydney, Australia was like stepping into a whole new world. I remember back then in Cambodia, we didn't have a single skyscraper. So the first time I saw the last landscape, the stunning beaches, and the well-organized cities, it felt like step into a dream. I lived there for 2 years, and during that time, I learned so much, not just academically, but also about life itself. I went hiking, camping with friends, and truly experienced what it meant to live close to nature, which adventure opened my eyes to the beauty of the world and solidified my love for travel. After 2 transformative years, I returned to Cambodia. With my newly acquired degree and fresh perspective, I landed a fantastic job. Not only did it pay well, but it was a role I loved. I stayed in that job for 13 years. And during that time, I saw myself grow, not just professionally, but personally as well. Promotion came my way, and I was able to save more money than ever before. A couple of years after that, I decided it was time to take another big step. I bought a rental property. I purchased a flat which is similar to townhouse here in the US. Can you believe I paid it off in just 4 years? I took out a mortgage with a 14% interest rate, which was the norm back then. So I was eager to get rid of that loan as fast as I could. Back then in Cambodia, most people bought homes outright, paying cash. I remember thinking, what have I gotten myself into? But I knew that paying off my rental property would be worth it in the long run. When I was debt-free, I began investing in fixed-term deposits, which is similar to CDs here in the States. This investment provided me with a safe return of 7 to 10% per year, and it felt good knowing my money was working for me. Now, let me share a little secret. Cambodia didn't have a stock market until 2012, but it was not as well known until about 5 years ago. Even then, the investment opportunities weren't as transparent or trustworthy as I would have liked. So sticking to safer investment feel like the right choice. Before I moved to the US, my last salary was around 65,000 a year. That might not sound like much here, but in Cambodia, it was pretty high. I saved astonishing 70% of my income. Yes, you heard that right. And even as my salary increased, I kept my expense in check. I was still riding my scooter to work and cooking meals at home, with occasional dining out with friends and family. Eating out in Asia is a lot cheaper than here, so I felt like I was living large. I live with my parents, which is quite common in Cambodia. It's a cultural norm to stay with your family until you marry, and some people even continue to live with their parents afterward. So when people ask me how I managed to save so much, I always tell them it's all about lifestyle choices. As my career progressed, I rekindled my love for travel. It's all started back in Australia. I set aside about 10% of my budget for leisure, which include traveling. I ventured to neighboring countries and eventually made my way back to Australia and even Europe. And then I met Jason, my American husband. He visited Cambodia almost 7 years ago, and we bonded over our shared passion for travel. We took several trips together, and our relationship even survived the pandemic. The fact that we share the same financial values and beliefs truly have. Through all of those trips, we kept our long-distance relationship alive until we got married. And here I am, living in the US. Now the rest is history. I was already on my journey to financial freedom, but marrying my husband accelerated that process by providing valuable support and a shared vision for our future. It's important to note that while his background certainly contributed, my dedication and hard work laid the foundation for our success. So, what was that game-changing move I mentioned earlier? It's about developing a mindset for success, setting clear goals, being disciplined, and never losing sight of what you want. If I can work through challenges and become financially independent, I promise you can do too. If you enjoyed this video, you are going to love our videos on financial independence strategies. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tips on living your best financial life. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.